My name is Supadra Bunpasuk. That's my maiden name. I married a month ago, so now it's Supadra Geronimo, and he is not Indian. And I'm from Thailand. It's been 9 years that I moved over, and it's been fun. I came in when I was turning 19, and when I came over, it was actually my brother that was living here for about 2 years before I moved over, and he was living in New Jersey. I came over to visit him for about 2 months. I was in the last year in high school at that time, and I thought it was a wonderful world. I mean, it's beautiful. I didn't have to work, so everything was great. Very little that when you're living in America is totally different. But I decided to finish my high school, and halfway into college, I moved over. Thailand was different. Thailand was more conservative. I mean, you can't really be open-minded as well as Americans. A lot more double standards, between male and females. Women don't really learn how to play sport. I mean, they learn how to be a good housewife, everything in the house, cooking, cleaning, laundry. You have to expertise in those skills before you can go out and start playing sports. My family, I have a brother, an older brother, who's now living in Kansas. Very cold. He was living in California before, and he got an opportunity to open a restaurant, so now he moved to Kansas. Yeah, very far away. And my parents still live in Thailand. They probably really are happy that don't have the two kids to bother them every day, so that's good. But they come and visit me every year for about 2 months, and that's our family. I mean, I would say we are in the middle class. My mom has always been a business owner, and my dad is a lawyer and has been a lawyer for about 25 years or 30 years. And I think that goes back to my education too. The reason I decided to come to America was because I was in the middle of law school, and my dad tricked me into it. But I just realized I didn't like it. I'm too free-spirited than being, forced into a law and become a lawyer. And knowing that I didn't like that, I was willing to leave and just come here and search for, what I want, what my desires were. So I would say that our family's middle class. We're not completely rich. We're not poor. I mean, I could get whatever I want as long as, it was reasonable. So. It's really funny because I have always been moving around. I grew up in Lopburi. It's about 2 hours away from Bangkok, and it's called Monkey City. Yeah, Monkey City. I mean, that town is very small, very interesting. The whole town has monkeys in wide open space. They actually interact with people. They actually have jails for monkey that, monkeys that steal, monkeys that, bother human beings, and twice a year they'll have feast for monkey, and they literally have table and full of food and bananas, and so all the monkeys will come around, sit on the chair, and eat like human beings. So all the monkeys in that city are well trained. I was born in that monkey. Needless to say, I am part of them. So I can never stay still and act like a tomboy sometimes, but that's where I was born. And I moved to, it's called Korat. It's northeast of Bangkok, and I studied there for my kindergarten and high school. So that's where I stayed. My parents live there still, and we moved, well, I moved to Bangkok to stay with my aunt for college education, well, part of the college education. So that's, I've been all around. For the record, Jersey is not like Thailand, completely different. I can compare to Thailand. You know, Thailand has very different parts, just like America. I mean, northern of Thailand is very traditional, very, you know, mountain-like. Like we do have, very north of Thailand, we do have a lot of mountains. The weather is a lot colder, and we do have people that live on mountain and speak their own language, but they are Thai people. They just grew up in those villages where, you know, they just don't know how to speak the central language, and they just grew up in the tribes, and, you know, it's almost like, you know, tribes in America, very similar. Now, southern part of Thailand is as beautiful as Hawaii, if not more. Very natural, very beautiful. And Bangkok, it's like New York. It's Sin City. You know, you can get whatever you want in Bangkok. I mean, pollution, population, women, goods. I mean, a lot of stuff. I mean, so Thailand's very different. And just like America, each part of Thailand, you know, represents different parts of culture, and so very different from America. But the one thing, I mean, similar in one part, one thing that's really different than America is the culture and traditions. I mean, Thai people, it doesn't matter where, as open-minded as they could be, they are not as open-minded as Americans. We do have culture and traditions that are very conservative. So you got to see the first time when I told my parents I play pool. Whew. I told them after a year and a half, and when I decided to take it seriously, I told them, listen, I play pool. And this was on the phone, right? I always talk to my mother a lot. My dad's a quiet one, so he speaks when he has something really important to say, and everybody would listen, because you know that he only speaks when there's very important things to address. But I spoke to my mother as, you know, I usually do, and I would say, hey, Mom, I got something to tell you. And she goes, what? I said, I play pool. And there was like silence. 5 minutes on the phone, silence. And I was like, hello, you there? And she's like, you play what? I said, I play pool. She's like, pools are for prostitutes, drugs, and gamblers. What are you doing? I'm like, you don't understand. You have to come here and you have to see. It's different. It was another 5 minute silence on the phone. But I mean, you know, they came to visit right after. I told them about 2 months right after. They came to visit. They saw a pool hall I was practicing in, and they realized it's not the same. But that just goes to show you how pool comes a long way, and also, you know, the traditions of women playing sports, especially pool, because even nowadays, pool halls in Thailand are still very different from America. It's a lot more drugs, prostitute involvement. No, I did not speak English all my life. It's a funny story. My best friend in high school, well, before high school, my best friend chose to, you know, take classes of French and English. And I hated it. I mean, I was like, why did we have to learn another language? We're going to live in Thailand. So Americans come here and they need to speak my language, right? I mean, it was that obnoxious. I was like, no way. They, you know, they're not going to, you know, if they don't speak Thai, they can't talk to me. But I took French and English, only because my best friend's taking those classes. So I was like, okay, I'll go with you. And every time that I'm in the class, I mean, I would have sudden sickness of my head hurts, my stomach hurts, you know, I have to be in the back of the room falling asleep. So I didn't speak English when I first came here. And when I was visiting the first time to America, we actually was very fortunate. My parents and my brother and I, we went to visit the White House, and it was fun. You got, I got inside. I got, the tour around the White House, and I was wearing these high heels, and I stepped on some guy's toes. And I turned around because the only word I could say in English was thank you. So I turned around and I said, thank you. And he was mad. I could tell. He turned red. I mean, he was hurt, and I turned around, English accent. I said, thank you. But then I couldn't explain. Oh, I realized I said it wrong. I meant wrong. And I just couldn't explain in English. So I was like, and then I just ran away. But that's just a lesson of, I couldn't speak a word in English when I first came here. But, I went to school after, so. Thai language is very different. I actually just had a conversation with a friend of mine. Thai language is very different than English, because we are more about intonation instead of pronunciation and spelling. So let's say the word ma. It doesn't matter in English how you say ma. Ma, it means mom. Ma. In Thailand, in Thai language means completely different. Ma, means come here. Ma means the horse. Ma means dog. So it's just the intonation and how to learn it. There will be a symbol it spells the same, but there will be a symbol above or below the word itself to announce how to pronounce it and what intonation you would use.ฉันจะไปลงพูเล่นจะไปตีพูเลข 9 and I am a pool player. ฉันเป็นคนแทง pool. That's in Thai. So as you could tell, the intonation is never like that. It's always up and down, ups and downs. So that's interesting. I came here from Thailand. I started to work in a Thai restaurant because I couldn't speak English. So I was a to-go packer in the back of the Thai restaurant. Then I realized, being a to-go packer is not going to make me any money. So I had to learn some English. I would sneak out some lunchtime, when the owner's not there and when the main waitress wasn't exactly active. She was kind of, tired and taking a lunch break. I would sneak out when there's two people coming in, with two customers coming in. I would sneak out and I would say, oh, what would you like to eat or to drink? Some standards things. And it worked very well. I just started to get my time at the tables and just really learn how to speak and take the orders. So I become a waitress. So now I'm making a little bit more money. And then in that restaurant, it has a bar, and I went into the behind the bar to try to make drinks, and then I realized I could make more money becoming a bartender. So I left that restaurant. I mean, obviously, I saved enough money to go to a bartender school, and I went for, I think it was 2 weeks courses, and I left the Thai restaurant and I started working as a bartender. And I got a job at Amsterdam, the bar and pool hall, and women in the tight black clothes, and after work you kind of, oh, people make it so easy playing pool, let me just try. After work one day, I grabbed the house cue and I went to the table and I couldn't even hit the cue ball. I was so bad because I've never played any sports before when I was in Thailand. That was the first time I ever tried, and it was a disaster. So I don't remember his name, but he was a regular at Amsterdam and on the west side, and he came over to me and he said, let me teach you. So now everybody started to teach me, and in the time of probably an hour, I started making balls, and I was like, hey, I might have talent in this thing. Let me just take it up. So I did, and that's how I got introduced to pool. Yep. And every night after work, I mean, I would just, take the table right next to good players so that I know, my tight black clothes, my innocent look of, oh, I don't know how to play pool. They would teach me, and it worked. So, good stuff. Thai food is a little bit more different in America because they, I mean, you have to make it good for the consumer, and Americans tend to like more sweet than Thai people. Thai people like it more salty and spicy. So a lot of Thai restaurants in here, I would say in New York, are very, not very authentic. They make it a little bit sweeter and a lot less spicy, not as salty, which that's the way you make Thai food in Thailand. A lot more spicy, more salt, more sauce, more soy sauce and fish sauce. Those are very salty sauces, so we use less of that, and we use a lot more sugar and like a sweetened paste. The restaurant that I would say that's very authentic, it's in New York, in Manhattan, would be Jaya. It's on 28th and 3rd. It's really good. And there's another in Queens. There's a couple of them that are very authentic, very, very good, very Thai-like. Yes, but in LA though, every Thai restaurant in LA is authentic. I mean, because they get ingredients straight from Thailand, and a lot of Thai people live in LA, so their main consumers are Thai people, not American. Yes, I am on a pro tour. I'm exempted for next year. As my first year planning the wedding, didn't have time to practice. I finished the year 39th ranking in WPBA. So, I could do better, and I will, but I'm still proud that in the fact that I didn't get to practice, from planning the wedding, full-time job, I still hang on and get my exemption for next year. So I am a touring pro for next year. I will be on the media guide, so very proud of that. Exemption is when you get invited back to be on a tour. If you don't get invited, then you have to go to regional championships at the end of the year and play for your spot in WPBA. Top 48 will be invited for the next year. 39.
39.
Yeah, it was 30. I think it was 37, but now it's 39. I didn't do well in the last tournament. I'm proud that with the little time that I have to practice, and a lot was on my hand. Planning the wedding's not easy. I mean, it's a lot of work. Honeymoon, I mean, everything. I just didn't have time to practice at all, and still hang on to the exemption. I'm pretty proud of myself. So I'm planning to do better this year. Yes. My husband is not a professional pool player. Good thing. But that only because, we don't spend time in the pool hall as much. I used to date a pool player, and all the time that you would spend would be in the pool hall. And life's more than that. I mean, I love pool. I love to spend time, playing pool. But if two people that are in the relationship and all they do is playing pool, I mean, you're missing out a lot. Every pool player that makes it to the top, I'm pretty sure they have a love and hate relationship with this game. I mean, I'm sure everybody goes through it, you know. I'm sure there are times that you wonder how come you can't break through, and you know everything bad could happen, like anything that could possibly happen at the table, bad rolls, you know, bad luck, your opponent missing save, everything that just happened, it tends to happen at that time, and that's the time you would hate the game, but nobody ever quit, you know. I mean, you love this game, that's why you start. Think about it, because this is not a game for people to have fun watching. I mean, this is not a game for audience. I mean, only players have fun watching it. And people that, you know, really play and take it seriously, it takes a lot of time of your life. And the only reason I would think of somebody would do that is somebody who loved the game and really appreciate the physics of the game. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody has a love and hate for the game. You know, you're just gonna go through it. To me, it's hard to quit pool, because when you start it seriously, when you start playing pool seriously, you become, you know, when you take it seriously, you practice a lot more. It becomes such a big part of your life. It becomes the focus of your life, and it is really difficult to just cut that part out, because you build friends, you meet people, and you start to hang with them, you know, regularly, daily. And when you quit playing pool, you know, your friends will spend time in the pool hall, but you don't want to play pool. What are you going to do, you know? So it's almost like cutting a lot, like more than half of your life out if you quit playing pool. That's why a lot of people, besides loving the game, that's why a lot of people actually can't really quit. And it's a great game. What can I say? I do marketing. I used to be a bartender, and before I got married, because my husband and I have very different schedule, and I just wanted to change career, because I can't bartend forever. You know, you're gonna get old, you're gonna start having wrinkles. People are not gonna really enjoy seeing you behind the bar. They're gonna kick you out anyway. So I'd rather just leave before I get kicked out. I might have a little bit more time, but I realized, you know, it takes a while to build a career. So I gathered all my guts and just say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to completely quit bartending and go find a career and see what I like. I have passion for customer service, and also, you know, just talking to people and dealing with a lot of, you know, it feels good to give service and make people happy. So customer service is it's something that I'm very happy doing. So I'm in marketing and managing customer service for Supadra private training. So that's Jennifer's husband. I worked for him for almost a year now, and it's been great. Right now I have another passion of graphic design. I'm trying to look into, you know, because I really like being creative and doing, you know, create movie or create like editing or website stuff like that. I really have, you know, passion for it, so I might take that up, and we'll see. We'll take it from there. But for now, my full-time job is managing the private training studio in New York City. It's not a gym, it's a private training, so, you know, people will pay per hour to come and train with a trainer. That's a great question. It's actually something I'm going through right now. You know, to me, in my opinion, if everything that I do, I would always give a timeline to it, because I know my personality. If I don't, I will just, you know, whatever, I'll do it tomorrow, or, you know, I won't take it too seriously. I'll just do it day by day, you know, little by little. So I tend to force myself to give a timeline of, okay, you know, I want to really see how well I could do in pool. So I give myself from now 3 to 4 years to see how far I would go. And if I don't do well, you know, pool's always going to be a part of me. I'm always going to play it as a hobby, but I probably won't travel to, you know, West Coast to play in a tournament, or, you know, to the south, to the north to play in a tournament. I probably play in a tri-state, and still, you know, will always be a part of me. But everything I do will always have a timeline. You know, I will give myself 4 years as touring pro and see how well I do. If I do well, then, you know, there's always going to be some goals to reach. You know, I gave myself 2 years to get on a pro tour, and I did. And I would give myself a gift of, you know, succeeding the goal. So I'm gonna start my own website and do my own, you know, like start my own website, started to build bio about myself, and that's a gift to me, and it will be, you know, something I'm proud of. Ga Kim. Chao Ting Pan. It's so many of them. It's so hard, especially when I play in WPBA. You can name it. You know, I play Jasmine Ocean, I play Ga Kim, I play Chao Ting. You ask me who's the best, it's really different perspectives of how you look at their game. I love Ga Young's game. I think she's got amazing game. She plays like a guy. She's got great confidence. Her mental game's just a monster. She is a monster. I love Chao Ting. I would say I love Chao Ting calmness at the table. You will not be able to see if she's playing well, if she's playing not well. You'll see the same face expression. You'll see her believing in her skill, confident in her game, and always fought through. But the one thing about Chao Ting Pan that I really admire is that as good as she is, she's always open-minded to learn new stuff, and that is a big thing to become a great pool player. And she is always learning, and that's the one thing. If you ask me who's my idol, women idol in pool, I would say my very close friend Chao Ting Pan, because she's got a good heart. She's open-minded. She's always learning. Whose game I love the most right now, I would say Ga Young. She's a monster, but she's a little tough sometimes. She's one of my friends, but she's got a very strong personality, very strong. So sometimes she just rubs the people the wrong way, but she's got a good heart. Ga Young's a great shot maker. The reason she plays like a guy is because she has every aspect of the she's mastered every aspect of the game. So she could bank very well, she could kick amazingly, and she could play safe in such a way where you know, she doesn't just say, okay, I'm gonna hide the ball. When she thinks about playing safe, she would think of, how would I hide the ball so that the other person can't jump? You can't really kick and make it. You can't. It will take you 5 minutes to think of how to kick this ball. That's how she thinks how to play safe, and I think most guys play like that. And her shot making skill is just amazing. So even if it's a tough shot, she's so confident about making those shots that sometimes, it depends on how she's playing, of course, but sometimes she would go for it. In the meantime, most women won't. Most women would try to play safe and just hide the ball somewhere. I mean, it really depends of, you know, what's good for that person, you know, how you're confident of executing those shots. But the reason I say that Ga Young plays a little bit more like a guy is because Guy tends to be more aggressive at the table, and Ga Young is the same way. You know, oh, that's a tough question. My bad days in the past, I it would ruin my whole day. I would keep on playing, even though that I play bad. I would keep on playing, and just after I leave the pool hall for 2 hours, I still think about it. I still, get mad about it and not be in a good mood about it. So those days are gone, because now I realize that there's a lot more to life than just pool. So bad days, I would, finish my set, and if I don't feel like I can focus, I would go outside, I would take a break, I would come back, and if I still don't play well, I would quit and, pack it up and come back another day, because, there's some other things to do. But, I also don't want to train myself to believe that's how I play either. If I play really bad and I try to get through it, I try everything. I took a break, I went and have lunch, I clear my head and I try to focus again. If I still can't do it, I don't want my memory to believe, or I don't want myself to believe, wow, that's really how I play, because that's obviously not. You have a good day and you have a bad day. So if you have a bad day and you try to make it better and it doesn't get better, there's other things to do, and you should enjoy life more than just, having a bad day in pool. I used to be very stubborn. I used to just push through it. I used to just say, you play bad, you're going to stay in a pool hall until your back hurts, until you can't play anymore. But that, I don't think that's a mindset you want to have to play good pool. If you remember, the day you play good pool is the day that you just don't even think about anything, not negative energy, nothing, just enjoy the game. And that is the mindset that you have to be in. And if you can't, then don't push it. Just have to, do something else. A game of pool is a game for players. It's not really a game for audience. I just wish that there's more appreciation for the game, from the outside world. Unfortunately, there's not much. If there's more people more people have interest in pool and understand the game completely, there would be more sponsor, more money in the game. It would draw a lot more people. I think though, I understand where you're coming from, but think about it. Most popular sport in America is football, but that's only because it's more active, it's more interaction. Tennis, as much as popular as golf is, I don't think a lot of people watch golf unless you're a golf player. Fortunately, that they have a very big population of golf players. So, but you don't see golf game every Sunday night like football. So I think American, as I don't blame them, I think American is more into interactive sport, more active, more responsive sports, that it's more fun to watch. So I wouldn't blame them. Now, there is no baseball in Thailand. Basketball's okay, but the most active sport would be soccer. There's no football. So I would say in Asia, people don't play much of interactive sports. I think it's the culture-wise, like bumping into each other like football. It would be considered violent. So, in Asia, it tends to be more of thinking sports like pool. I do not have a sponsor yet, no, because as I said again, it's my first year on Pro Tour. Most of sponsor would probably like to sponsor people that are well known on Pro Tour and do really well. So that's another goal of mine, that in the next 4 years I would try to do very well and try to get sponsor, and we'll take it from there. I would say a 6 hour West Coast. 6 hours plane ride and another 2 hours shuttle to, I think it's called Oregon. Yeah. Oh God, that's very far. You know, plane ride, I'm lucky because I could sleep before the plane takes off. So I'm really lucky. But after 6 hours plane ride and another 2 hours shuttle, you get very tired. It's a long trip. I gotta give it to WPBA that they find a casino where it's like 8 hours away from, from us, and the 2 hours away from the airport. It's like, how did they find these places? It's awesome. It is. It's like, wow, this is great. Like, yeah, it stinks that you have to travel like 8 hours, but man, they must work really hard to find these places. It's great. Like, wow, they work hard for us to have a tournament. So I can't really complain. So hopefully you guys watch this, you guys don't kill me for saying it, but I'm a newbie. Please forgive me. My first cue was a Predator. My ex-boyfriend bought it for me, and I have been using it. And then I won a couple of tournaments with it, so I still have it at home. And now I'm using AEQ, and it's been great. I think Mika Imminent bought the cue, and he didn't like it as much as his Mez cue, so I tried it, and I really like it more than the one I had before. So I'm using the AEQ with Mez shaft since I used to the Predator. So Mez is very similar, and it takes a very few adjustment, and I don't have to really learn how to adjust the to how to aim again. So I went with Mez, and I got AE from my husband. Actually, he bought me the cue because I think we won the Vegas team New York Dolls in 2005. We won the whole thing in Masters. So he bought me that cue. It's custom made. It's pretty. I definitely believe in, Thorsten Homan or Mika Imminence. They always believe in fitness and, working out for pool. And I believe in that too. I think it gives you a longer stamina, and it, you not having to have, you don't have to have a big muscle, but you do need you have to have a fitness. You have to, I would say that to play in a tournament back to back until late at night, you want to have a good health, a strong stamina where you don't get tired, because when your body gets tired, your brain started to fall apart, and that's where I believe in too. And after, I'm fortunate that I have been learning from the place I work, Rich Barada Private Training, that I've been working out, and it pays off. It keeps my focus longer. I could play back to back and not feeling like I can't walk around the table anymore. I am very fortunate. I'm very fortunate working with very different people, and each one of them has given me different perspective of the game. My break, which I would think that is my strongest part, is Chris Lynch. He taught me how to break. Orlando taught me how to play the pattern, the kicking. Tony Robles would teach me mechanics and would teach me how to bank. Steve Lipsky has been, teaching me the pattern play and the right shot, getting on the right side, and the way of thinking of 9-ball, shot selections. He's amazing. Jim Barada's, has been working with me too about, going into the zone or across the zone, stuff like that. So we have so many great players in New York. So as long as you're open-minded and you want to learn, you want to become a better player, you can learn anything from anybody if you open-minded and willing to take that in. So I'm lucky I have so many good players that would be kind enough to teach me. So everybody has a lot of influence. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll get my website up and we'll be in touch.